Hello, this is lecture 14, Tungal School of Basic and Applied Sciences, Degree College, Jamkandi. I am Ramanjan sir, Department of Mathematics. So let us see in continuation of lecture 13, the definitions. So we discussed previously the function, limit of a function, and the left hand limit and right hand limit of the functions. Whereas now, bounds of a function, the fourth one, bounds of a function. Bounds of a function. So previously we have bounds of a set. Now bounds of a function. See that now. The small one point in this, bounded above. Bounded above of a function, or simply bounded above is also called or upper bound of a function. Upper bound of a function. So how can we define this bounded above? A function f of x is said to be bounded above if there exists some capital M belongs to R such that mod f of x is less than or equal to capital M, comma, for all x belongs to or for all x, then capital M is called an upper bound of f of x. See that all the functional values less than or equal to m, then this m is called the upper bound or bounded above of the function. Whereas if I take the function f of x from here to here is defined in closed interval a comma b, whatever it is. So for this function f of x, capital M is this side. So all the functional values must be less than or equal to m this side. It means f of x is to be less than or equal to m. So that m is called bounded above or upper bound. This m is to be bounded above or upper bound. Right. So all the functional values are to be less than or equal to m. Then this m is called upper bound of the function f of x. Or otherwise, f of x is said to be bounded above. Why? Because it has an upper bound. Right. Second point in that 4. Second point, bounded below or lower bound. Lower bound. The same as the upper bound. A function f of x, a function f of x is said to be bounded below if there exists small m belongs to R such that mod f of x is to be greater than or equal to small m comma for all x. Then small m is called a bounded below or a lower bound of f of x. Then small m is called the lower bound of f of x. So this can be represented like this, and this is f of x. The function is defined as to be like this, and here will be small m, so that all functional values must be greater than or equal to small m, so that m is the lower bound. M is the lower bound because all the functional values are to be greater than or equal to m. Next, in the same way, third point, bounded function. When a function is said to be a bounded function, right? A function f of x is said to be a bounded function when if it is bounded above and bounded below. So if a function is said to be both bounded above and bounded below, then the function f of x is said to be a bounded function. That is, small m is less than or equal to f of x is less than or equal to capital M, comma for all x, where m lower bound, there is small m lower bound, and capital M is the upper bound of f of x. Then f of x is a bounded function. F of x is a bounded function. Even on the real line, it is in between. Here is f of x, and here is to be small m, and this is capital M. So the conditions are to be satisfied here. F of x greater than or equal to small m. Next, and f of x less than or equal to capital M. This is the upper bound for f of x, and this is to be lower bound. Next, least upper bound. The fourth point, least upper bound. So least upper bound of the function. So previously we have least upper bound of a set. It is simply LUB, least upper bound of a function. Right. Let capital M be an upper bound of f of x. Capital M be an upper bound of f of x, comma, if no element less than m, no element less than m is an upper bound of f of x, then capital M is called a least upper bound of f of x. See that. Let M be an upper bound of f of x. This is there. So this total is to be suppose f of x, and a capital M is an upper bound. This is upper bound. This is upper bound. If no element less than m is an upper bound, if any element is existing, all these will be upper bounds only. These are all upper bounds. If no element less than m is not an upper bound, then this m is called least upper bound, LUB, of f of x. If no element less than m cannot be an upper bound, if no element less than m is an upper bound, then this m is called least upper bound. So all upper bounds are existing greater than m only. Less than m upper bounds does not exist. Then at that time this m is called least upper bound. So fifth point, greatest lower, this is fifth point, greatest lower bound, it is GLB, greatest lower bound, GLB. Let small m be a lower bound of f of x, comma, if no element greater than m is a lower bound of f of x, then m is called a greatest lower bound, of f of x. even seeing that the function defined in between small m, then this is to be f of x. M is the lower bound, first of all. M is the lower bound. And no element greater than m are the lower bounds of f of x, then this m is called greatest lower bound of f of x. If any element less than m is an upper bound, if no element greater than m cannot be the upper bounds, cannot be the lower bounds. So these are all the lower bounds. These are all the lower bounds. Any element, if it is less than m, is a lower bound. And no element greater than m are the lower bounds. Then this m is called the greatest lower bound. Right. Next, standard limits. Standard limits. So for this, the proofs are there in lower classes. No need to prove it again here. Just we may have to recapitulate the standard limits. The first one, limit x tends to a, x power n minus a power n divided by x minus a is equal to n into a to the power of n minus 1. The second one, limit x tends to a, x power n minus a power n divided by x power m minus a power m is equal to n by m a to the power of n minus m. See that here, numerator is the power n, denominator the power is m. So it is equal to n by m a to the power of n minus m. Next, third one, limit x tends to 0, sin x by x is equal to 1, comma, limit x tends to 0, tan x by x is equal to 1. This also we have in lower classes, that we proved the limit of the function sin x by x is equal to 1, and its continuation later on to be that we have limit x tends to 0 tan x by x also to be 1, because tan x can be written as sin x by x later on, and we simplified there. Even the inverse functions, limit x tends to 0, sin inverse x by x is equal to 1, comma, limit x tends to 0, tan inverse x by x is equal to 1. Both are to be 1 itself. Next, fifth one, limit x tends to infinity 1 plus 1 by x whole to the power of x is equal to e, comma, limit x tends to 0, 1 plus x whole to the power of 1 by x is equal to e. This also we will prove later on in indeterminate forms. So sixth one, limit x tends to 0, log of 1 plus x whole divided by x is equal to 1. Next, seventh one, limit x tends to 0, a power x minus 1 divided by x is equal to log a, comma, log the base here is a. And suppose limit x tends to 0, e power x minus 1 divided by x is equal to 1, because here is log e base c, we will get log e base c is equal to 1. Right, we will see the algebra of limits in the next class, and we have the statements as well as the proofs or in examination that we will see in the next lecture. Thank you very much.